with you in a moment, folks. Just need to make Facebook public. Okay, folks, good morning. It's Indy Truck Davy, newspaper review on the 25th of the 9th, 2024. I'll give you a wee minute for a few easy to get on, and then we'll get into the headlines for today, shall we? Well, push in them actually, but never mind. We'll find something to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about sausages instead of hostages, which of course is what the Israelis are doing to the Gazans, turning them into fuck all but ground meat. Not funny. Let's say, give you a couple of minutes to get on board. We'll keep an eye out for the first Facebooker popping in, because so far all 55 of these are for YouTube. Anyway, let's see if we'll get a second more, and then we'll get this broadcast underway. Anybody else that's late can catch up from the naughty step. This isn't a Two Davies. This is an Indy Truck Davy. Don't be bloody late. Bad manners. Good morning, Melanie. Good morning, Derek. Right, we've got a couple of Facebookers in. We're up there at the 50 mark. Not as much as what we normally get for Two Davies by now, but we're up there at the 50 mark, so let's get this broadcast underway. Aye, pork sausages, Harry. Right, as I say, first up, I'll put the first one up. Today is the Press and Journal. Where are we? That's it there. So, I'll put this one up, folks. What one is it? That one? Yep. Here we go. And this is the first paper to show up in the newspaper review here in Scotland today. It's the Press and Journal. It's the local newspaper for Aberdeenshire in the northeast of Scotland. And of course, it runs with, it could only have been Aberdeen. And that is the announcement yesterday that the Ponzi scheme, GB Energy, which won't produce any energy, won't bring down anybody's energy bills, is to be based in Aberdeen. So there you go. We'll have 15 credit brokers in an office in Aberdeen offering money to subsidise green energy projects to the private sector. How we're going to make any money for the public or bring down the energy costs out of that, I have absolutely no idea. Nobody's explained to me how it's going to happen either. And I mean, I've looked. As far as I can see, the UK government has put £8.3 billion aside. Hi, Jane. £8.3 billion aside so that people who don't want to invest in green energy projects at the moment because of the Green Levy will actually invest in green infrastructure. So there you go. We're having to actually subsidise the private sector because of the price of our electricity bills. The Green Levy. They don't want to invest, so we'll get some taxpayers' money and give it to them in the hope that they'll invest. Or we'll make it available to them in the hope that they'll invest. So basically, they're not even taking stakes. They're giving loans. Mental. So government loan guarantees is basically what this GB Energy is going to do. And as I say, only about 15 finance brokers sitting in a wee office in Aberdeen. Well done, Aberdeen. Right, but there you go, Scotland. There's your bauble. There's your wee bauble. Stay in the union so we can steal your fucking electricity. I've got a wee news flash for Starmer. If he doesn't start behaving himself, every time they put a shovel in the ground, I'll organise an army of Scotsmen to go and fill the fucking hole in again. And if they don't start playing ball, I happen to know an awful lot of people who know a lot about interconnectors. We'll cut the fucking energy after the northeast of England. Now let's move on. The Scotsman goes on. now accelerate the creation of GB Energy, Starmer told. And the sub-headline is, Prime Minister confirms energy firm for Aberdeen. And he is urged not to kill off the North Sea. They're no day either. The Treasury is desperate for money, apparently. So they won't do either. But I don't know why they're calling it GB Energy. No fucking energy we produce for this lot. None. Right, let's take down the Press and Journal because we've moved on to the Scotsman. And then we're going to move on to the Herald. And I'll put the Herald up as well. Because this one is quite interesting. I've got a bit to say about this one. I had a wee look into this one. And it is quite interesting. So as I say, we'll share the Herald. The headline in the Herald today is Scotland to become global lead in green financing. Now, when you read into this story, it has to do with Scotland's well-established, massive financial sector. Now, if you remember in 2013, Mark Carney, the ex-governor of the Bank of England, told us that the value of the Scottish financial sector alone was worth north of 1.5 trillion. Get that, 1.5 trillion. And that's because some of the world's largest asset management companies are based here in Scotland, as well as a well-established banking sector which is growing. Anyway, Deputy First Minister Kate Forbes is working with those asset management companies in the banking sector here in Scotland to encourage them to invest in the green infrastructure of the future. And what she's telling the massive financial sector here in Scotland, especially the asset management sector, she's telling them to invest, get on board. Don't let foreign investment rape the profits from Scotland's renewable boom. Do it yourselves. So as I say, we know that, the third largest asset management company is based in Edinburgh. Worldwide that is, as we know, because we had Scottish Widows and Aberdeen Asset Management merge. And I think the Prudential's in there somewhere as well now. That is the world's third largest asset management company. So there's a lot of money sloshing about Scotland. And Kate Forbes wants that money invested in Scotland's green infrastructure and in Scotland's future. And I think it's a good idea. I think it's a goer, because we'll get fuck off with doing that road. All we'll get for doing that road is raped. We'll get bent out of the table and shoveled. There you go. So the Herald's headline, and Kate Forbes, the Deputy First Minister, working with asset management companies and the huge banking sector here in Scotland to try and encourage them to invest in our futures. Not a bad idea. And remember, we also have the National Investment Bank doing that as well. Okay, let's move on. The rancid record goes on. Starmer will get there. Starmer says we'll get there if we stick together. That's the headline. But the main headline in the rancid record today is 10,000 kids forced to live in B&Bs. It's the story of increased homelessness here in Scotland. Now, the causes of this homelessness are wide and varied, but we'll peg a few of them down. Increased rents in the private sector, meaning people couldn't afford to stay in their homes, moving out. And then, of course, we had the massive hike in interest rates, meaning some people have had to hand their houses back to the banks because they could no longer afford their mortgages. And then, of course, if we throw in the fact that England hasn't been building any houses, not one. No many social houses, if any, in England. So there's no Barnett formula for building here. But the Scottish, there's no Barnett consequentials to build here. But the Scottish government, through the Scottish budget, has found money over the last 14 years to build 105,000 affordable and social rented houses. But it's slow and it's not enough. And as I say, the reasons for this are varied, but generally down to austerity, the lack of building of social housing in Westminster, meaning that from Westminster, meaning there's no consequentials for building social housing in Scotland, Wales or Northern Ireland. And the fact that the Scottish Government is having to build affordable and social rented housing from the existing budgets that we have. It's a bloody miracle they've managed to build 105,000. There's another 15,000 under the way as well. That would have been 150,000 by now. But we did have a year and 3 quarters when the Scottish building industry was shut because of the pandemic. Because unlike doing that road, Nicola realised you can't throw all the young people onto building sites together, all the men onto building sites together. It's just a big petri jar, and they'll be taking the illnesses back to their families, the COVID back to their families. So she shut the building sector down. Builders here in Scotland were only allowed to carry out a maintenance. So throw in all these factors, and yep, there has been an increase in the amount of people in temporary housing, temporary accommodation, including families. But that's just the way it is. If they're no building houses in England, there's no consequence. And I mean private and social rented housing. They're no building that in England. There's no consequences coming to Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. So we can't build the new housing stock either. There's nothing in the capital budget for it. Simple as that. Morning, Larry. So that's what the rancid goes on. The rancid goes on. I'll take this bloody thing down. The Herald. The Rancid Record, which is a Scotland-only paper for the viewers in England, it runs on homelessness here in Scotland. Families, 10,000 families requiring accommodation, and they're living at this point in time in emergency accommodation, bed and breakfast, that sort of thing. Okay, so that was the Rancid. But as I say, it is a miracle that the Scottish Government has managed to find the money to build 105,000 social houses without any consequences whatsoever. So a big up to the SNP for managing it. Now, if Westminster and the previous Labour and Tory administration had been building social housing, instead of having these help to buy schemes, then there would have been consequentials and we wouldn't have a housing problem UK-wide. But we do have a housing problem UK-wide because the previous Labour administration, which was in for 10 or 11 years, and the previous Tory administration, which has been in for 14 years, so there's 25 years, they haven't built a fucking house in England, a social rented house in England. And I mean the government, I don't mean things like housing associations, I mean the government. They haven't invested in the housing stock down that road at all. Mental. So when we've got a problem, we look at that border. Wow. Right, the Times goes on. Brace for incoming storm, warns Starmer. So, Monday, Rachel Reeves, no more austerity. Austerity is over. Tuesday, Starmer going to make harsh decisions that's going to make him unpopular. You know. And we've already had them keep the 2-child benefit cap and sting a granny who's going to kill in winter. And when we talk about the false economy and taking that 200 to out the £300 off of the pensioners. Now, I had a wee look at this because Big Madge was talking about this down the road, the cost of an ambulance call out in England. It's a wee bit cheaper here in Scotland. Although, when you get in that ambulance, you're probably travelling a greater distance, so it probably sort of levels up. So about 250 quid a pop every time Granny needs to go to the hospital because she can't heat her house or eat properly. This is a false economy, this a winter fuel cap thing. But to claim there's no more austerity on Monday, and if Starmer come and tell us, strap yourselves in, kids, on Tuesday, in his keynote speech, in which he tells us that pensioners are going to be better off after April, that's not going to help in the fucking winter this year. And then, of course, I spoke to you on Monday about the false yesterday actually, false statement in Yahoo News. People get £150 fuel help through the warm home scheme. It's no new money, of course, as I explained yesterday. The warm home scheme was set up in 2011 by the Conservative Liberal Democrat coalition, and it runs in 5 years cycles, and the Parliament votes to renew it every 5 years. The £150 he's talking about already goes to benefit claimants, but it doesn't go to the electricity companies. Need to get off benefit claimants winter fuel bills for the period of September to April. Explain that all. But Starmer telling pensioners are going to be better off. Oof. That's all comparative stuff. It's shite. Yep, the pension's going to go up with the triple lock in April. The fucking prices are still going up. And remember, in the last year and a half, we've had food costs increased by over 20%. In the last 2 years, my electricity bill's tripled. In fact, I got a letter in from them to tell me that this year my electricity bill will go up to £2,561 compared to what it was the year previously at £2,296. So my electricity is going up by £265 this year. If mine's is going up by that, so is Granny's. So where this banner Starmer in his keynote speech gets off telling pensioners they're going to be better off, you know. But he is right about stopping for the storm, to see all this push about the austerity is over. That wasn't aimed at the English people, that was aimed at the people of Scotland, because of the lying bastards here in Scotland who misled the Scottish people and who are now suffering the consequences in the polls and outside their constituency offices. And Sarwar, he's in hiding. He's in hiding. He's travelling back and forth to Edinburgh and Glasgow in a dark, tinted, winded motor. For his house to the Parliament, for the Parliament to his house, because he's in hiding. He'd be lucky if he doesn't get lynched for the lies. So Rachel Reeves' claim on Monday that austerity was over, that wasn't aimed at the English people. That was aimed at the people of Scotland who'd been lied to through their teeth. Because we had the Labour Party up here telling us austerity would be over, the two-child cap would be gone. But that's not the case, is it? They also promised that the Waspy women would get settlement. That all came from Sarwar, the branch office manager here. I'll put that one up, Duncan. Crank the volume up. Okay, crank the volume up. Let everybody else hear it and all. You're listening to the show, waiting in your appointment in the Gap Naval. I hope it all goes well for you, Duncan. Right. The Times runs on an ominous headline, and it's quite a short headline. And the Times says the state will take back control. And this is where Starmer claims he'll take back control of the NHS, he'll take back control of education, he'll take back control of fucking everything. Of course, as we know, he's taking back control of nothing. Rachel Reeves and Starmer actually made their intent clear prior to getting into government. We were told PFI was back, and privatisation and outsourcing is how they're going to do it, especially in the NHS. So this take back control bollocks I'll bet you right now, they don't. I've just said what it's going to be. PFI, privatization, outsourcing. But they did tell us this. Anybody who was listening in the run-up to the election will realise that that's what we were being told. If you didn't realise that's what you're being told, then your head was up your arse, or your understanding is pretty limited. Right, let's move on. The Scottish Daily Fail, the right-wing loony rag, that runs on. Marines ready for mass evacuation of Lebanon Brits. 700 UK troops rush to region to mount potential Dunkirk-style rescue of up to 10,000 citizens, UK citizens. Well, actually, I can't really call them citizens, can we? It's a United Kingdom. That makes us all fucking subjects. Well, it would if the Scots didn't have a different crown from the English. So we'll get X amount of citizens for Scotland and a bunch of fucking subjects for England all needing rescued. Because the lunatic in Israel has decided to widen out his conflict after committing a genocide in Gaza. An ongoing genocide in Gaza. And he's moved on to the West Bank. As we were talking about in the Two Davies on Monday, Al Jazeera has been fucked out of the West Bank for the next 48 days. There must be something big going down that Israel doesn't want the West to know about, or doesn't want the world to know about. All right, so I mean, but that the fact that these people are needing rescued, we can lay that squarely at the door of the genocidal maniac in charge of the Israeli regime. I don't blame the Israeli people. I want to be clear there. Can't blame Jewish people anywhere on the planet for the behaviour of Netanyahu and his right-wing lunatics who are blood hungry and who are now full of bloodlust when they've got started. And of course there's the fact that he's needing to widen the war to keep himself in power, to keep himself out of jail. Whether that be the international courts at The Hague, or whether that be domestic courts for fraud, theft, embezzlement, you name it, Netanyahu's been into it. Right, what's the other loony rag got for us today? Huh? Well, the Scottish loony right-wing rag, the Express runs on. Kate back to work to prepare for Christmas concert. Apparently, Kate Middleton is now over her illness of cancer. I'm very pleased she's got a couple of young kids. But I do want to correct that headline for the Express, shall I? I will correct that headline for the Express. So let's translate that headline into English, shall we? It should read, notorious family of state-funded benefit scroungers prepare to spaff public money up the wall for a Christmas Carol concert. Because you can bet your arse they're no pound for it. So that's that headline sorted for the Express. A family of state-funded benefit scroungers spaff public money up the wall for a jolly Christmas Carol concert. Lovely. I hope you like the new headline that I've made up for the Express, because that's mere apt. Right. The loony rag corrupt paper who has an owner that should be in jail, The Sun. It goes along the same lines as the entertainment-based headline for yesterday. and it says, Phil, I'm back. And apparently Schofield's back on TV. Apparently a year after he was sacked. Didn't bother looking into it. I'm not fucking interested. I didn't know Philip Schofield was off the telly. To be fair, because I'm the fucking switch one on in years. Last time I seen Philip Schofield on the telly, he was doing kids' TV for fuck's sake. Yeah. Anyway, as I say, it would appear Murdoch's pulled out of politics for the time being, after throwing his weight behind Zionist a Starmer who's complicit in a genocide in Gaza. Now, what's the National vote? I think we'll put the National up, shall we? I guess we'll know. Let's look. We'll put the National up. I'll tell you what, the picture in the Times and the Telegraph are absolutely vomit-inducing pictures of Starmer kissing his wife. Oof. Right, where are we? The National. Right. Let's put the National up. Here we go. And the National runs with Robertson issues budget demand to Reeves. Now, what it actually says, if I can find the right fucking one, what it actually says is Finance Secretary calls for clarity as she says she has been given no idea how much funding Scotland will receive. Slightly misleading headline in the National. And the reason why I'll tell you it's a slightly misleading headline in the National, and that is because Shona Robertson knows what she'll get from income tax. She knows exactly what she'll get for the income tax system, because Scotland has a separate income tax system. So to say she doesn't know how much funding she will have, that's true. She doesn't know what she's getting through the consequentials and through the block grant. There's no indication, and there won't be until after October 30th when we get Rachel Reeves' first budget. But as for demands clarity, they've just ignored 38 fucking Labour MPs. They're not going to pay any attention to an SNP MSP. Wow. In fact, they've ignored 38 Labour MPs 3 times now. That's exactly why there's anger here in Scotland. And it's exactly why Labour MPs here in Scotland are keeping their fucking heads down. I'll tell you what happened to the one down in Morrison's for Coatbridge and Bells Hill, trying to hold a surgery in the cafe. He was getting fucking pelters. And a poor old woman, what use the supermarket? Imagine setting up in the supermarket. Wow. They were lining up to take pot shots at the poor bugger. Deserved it, so he did. He misled them into voting for him. Right, as I say about Robson demands, demand fuck all. No listening, don't care. No, we don't. We're already second class citizens with our own fucking land. We already need England's permission. Sorry, Westminster's permission. He asked for a fucking question. And anything that is devolved isn't really, because I've explained to you all before. Through the 1998 Scotland Act, they have a veto on fucking everything in Scotland, but we've got a veto on fuck all UK wide. So Robson demands, tell you what Robson gets, fucking rubbered. And the reason why this is in the National today is because the Finance Minister has been trying to talk to the Treasury. They just keep telling her to fuck off. Right, let's move on. The Metro has an England-only story in it, but because it's circulated UK-wide and it's in all our public transport, I thought I would give you the headline. And the headline is 10 years to end zombie apocalypse. Apparently, And that's the Home Secretary down the road who is promising to have knife crime. Because knife crime down that road apparently is out of hand. As you know, we've sorted knife crime here in Scotland. Glasgow went to the murder capital of Europe to Glasgow smiles better and people make Glasgow. It's now one of the top 10 destinations in the world for a visit. Unbelievable. There you go. So, apparently the Home Secretary on that road is going to crack down on knife crime. Now, good luck with that. Because let's face it, that is a horrible thing. And Scotland seemed to be a stabby place to begin with. England would have been much different, actually. Methods of warfare were big knives back in the day, you know. So it's sort of built in. Right, and this one, I've got to end by putting up the Star. Because I love the Star. The Star's brilliant. And the Star's headline today is fucking brilliant. I just can't, I love it. Here we go, folks. Let's get up the Star. That one? Yeah. That one? Yeah. That one? Yes, that one. Found it. Here we go, folks. Fucking love this. The Star. Star always puts a smile on your face. Loch Ness Funster. Nessie reveals a wicked sense of humour as she plays pranks on boaters. And apparently this is a father and son who were out paddling their canoe in Loch Ness, and they claim the Loch Ness monster come up and head-butted the boat into their boat. I love this Star. Just ends the newspaper roundup with a big smile and a shitload of silliness. Which sort of reflects the rest of the press, actually. The bank details should be in the video's heading. To say, folks, starting next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, right after the morning broadcast, we'll do a Discord chat for an after show chat from 11 till 1 if anybody's interested. Earlier if people are not interested. Okay. That's what I've got for you today, folks. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it informative. Until this bloody silly season is over with, the conference season, there isn't much really to dig into these stories. There's no GB Energy, we've covered what that is extensively in the Two Davies. The rise in people in temporary accommodation, we've covered that before as well. So, conference season should be over shortly. Should start getting some meaty stuff in the press to start reporting on and digging into. But in the meantime, it's good fun. And love this Star. Absolutely love the Star. Anyway, I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it informative. And we'll be back tomorrow to do it all again at 10:30 in the morning. Few and figures are no bad, considering the programme's only 3 days old. 120 is at the peak, yeah. Let's hope we can get up to a sort of Two Davies standard of more than 200. But, as I say, it's a new one. People are still learning about it being on. Have a nice day. See you all tomorrow, 10:30.